Hi, I'm Chang, and today we're going to be talking about Stockholm Syndrome. Now, I know it's awkward. You're like, Stockholm Syndrome, entrepreneurship, becoming successful, doesn't make any sense. But hear me out, it'll make sense in a bit. So, if you don't know what Stockholm Syndrome is basically when a captor goes ahead and captures a victim. The victim that is being captured or held prisoner goes ahead after a period of time being with their captor eventually falls in love with their captor. Now, supposedly, this is a way for the mind to go ahead and balance itself out, basically saying, hey, I'm in this situation, I can't do anything about it, so let me just go ahead and make it worth my time, and let's fall in love. And basically, that's kind of the idea behind Stockholm Syndrome. A great example is go ahead and watch Beauty and the Beast. You can either watch the Disney version or the new version, which I don't think is very popular. But you can go ahead and watch both versions. There is the Disney version, and then there's the newer, real version, so to speak, the actual people playing the characters. So go ahead and watch that. That's a very good example of Stockholm Syndrome. It is a classic example in psychology. But that is essentially what Stockholm Syndrome is. Now, how does that apply to entrepreneurship? How does that apply to obtaining your success? That is a great question. So, here's the thing. When you go ahead and purchase an item, what are you doing? You're giving that person money. That money is no longer yours. It's theirs. And whatever you bought, the product, that's the product that you just bought. You have to commit to spending that money, not getting it back, and then receiving that product. So in a way, you're stuck. Again, captured. You're stuck. You're a prisoner, right? Because you just made a commitment and you cannot break that commitment. You just passed on money. So what happens is when we spend $500, $1,000, $2,000 on a plane ticket to go back and forth to an event, let's say, and then to go to an event and then attend the event, and then we're not mentioning hotels and all that, so around $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, the numbers keep going up. You're spending a lot of money on basically getting a product. What can happen, and what is very essential to be aware of, is that you've just made a commitment. You've just made a prison. There is a chance that you may fall in love with a captor and have Stockholm Syndrome. Or at least a version of it. A little bit of an awkward version, but it is very possible. Now, I'm not a psychologist and I can't proclaim that that is Stockholm Syndrome, but it gets very close to the definition of Stockholm Syndrome. Extremely close. So essentially, that's what happens. Is that sometimes I see a lot of businesses go into the field, especially when you're starting off, and you go purchase all these events, or you go ahead and purchase all these courses, or you go ahead and purchase all these services, and you hear people saying, well, I promise you this, and my product works, and it's always like, hey, my product works, and it's your fault because my product is great, and I don't care what you have to say. If you aren't using my product properly, then what the hell, it's not the problem with my product, it's you. And all these things come up, and you go ahead and start thinking that, and you're like, hey, I spent that $1,000, and this is what they promised me, and this is they told me that if I don't do this, then I don't do this, and I don't do this, then the program's not going to be worth it for me. I didn't do it. And all these things are going to happen, and these are the negative things that happen with purchasing big major programs or courses or services from other people. And this is a big deal, because what tends to happen is we create a prison from the exchange, because you're committing to that person or event and saying, hey, I commit this, I'm going to lose this permanently, and I will get this product. And you're stuck with that product. You're basically created that prison cell. You've been captured. And then what happens from there on out is that now you've been captured, you've got no choice but to interact with your prisoner, your captor, and therein comes the problem, is that Stockholm Syndrome may start to set in because you can't see outside of the decision you just made, and you're captured in there, and you just have to make it balance out. And then you go ahead and fall in love with the product, even though it sucks, and therefore now you have Stockholm Syndrome. And this is a very important thing to be aware of, because it does happen all the time, and it is what happens to many businesses. They go ahead and spend thousands of dollars on these events or courses or services, and they don't get anything back, but they still love the product, the service, whatever they just bought, because they have to, because they made a commitment. And that's usually a big deal, because it usually causes a business to become stagnant or to just completely fail. And that's quite honestly something that I think all of you should look out for. So I do hope that this video helped you a little bit. I know it's a little dark, but I just want you to be aware that it does happen, and to just kind of be very careful about that. So hopefully this video helped you, and I will see you in the next video.